whenever you feel it's necessary.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, live from the Biltmore.
Woo! I wanna be loved by you, just you and nobody else but you. I wanna be loved by you alone. Boop boop doo. Oh! 1, 2, 3. I wanna be kissed by you and you and you and you. I wanna be kissed by you alone.
Boop boop bidoo.
Myra!
Under the Biltmore clock.
By F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Probably every boy who has attended an Eastern college in the last 10 years has met
Myra.
half a dozen times.
For the Myras live on the Eastern colleges.
As kittens live on warm milk.
The particular Myra whom this story concerns will have to have a paragraph of history.
We will get it over with as swiftly as possible.
When this particular Myra was 16, she lived in a big house
In Cleveland.
and attended.
The Darby School in Connecticut.
It was while she was still there that she began going to.
Prep school dances. And college proms.
At 17, she went to Smith College, but in January of her freshman year fell violently in love with
David, Philip, Trevor, James.
Marvin!
But she always had doubts.
Now that she was 21, Cleveland people said that her mother ought to take her back home.
New York was spoiling her.
But you can see her practically any winter evening if you stroll through the lobby of the Biltmore Hotel.
Dancing with all the eligible bachelors in town.
Husband hunting.
I wanna be loved by you, just you and nobody else but you.
You will have to do your best with that.
This
Story should have started long ago.
It was an afternoon in September when Myra broke a theater date in order to have tea with young,
Mrs. Arthur Elkins.
Lila!
once her roommate at school.
I just can't seem to get interested, Lila.
Began Myra.
As they sat down, exquisitely.
I never get carried away by men like I used to. I've played around so much that even while I'm kissing the man, I wonder just how soon I'll get tired of him.
Lila had seen this form of ennui before.
How old are you, Myra?
21 last spring.
Well,
Said Lila coolly.
take it from me. Don't get married unless you're absolutely through playing around. It means giving up an awful lot, you know.
Myra paused and looked about her rather cautiously.
Well, there is someone.
Who?
Do you know Knowlton Whitney? He's smart as a whip and shy, rather sweetly shy, and they say his family has the best-looking place in Westchester County.
You really want him?
Yes, as much as I'll ever want anyone.
Then here's my advice. Go after him hammer and tongs, the way we used to. After you've got him, don't say to yourself,
Well, he can't sing like Billy.
or,
I wish he played better golf.
you can't have everything. Shut your eyes and turn off your sense of humor. And then, after you're married, it'll be very different, and you'll be mighty glad. Goodbye, Myra, and good luck.
And knowing Myra as she did,
Lila felt that her last remark
Was distinctly superfluous.
that was essentially the reason that one Friday night,
6 weeks later.
It's only a paper moon,
Sailing over cardboard sea.
but it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me.
Knowlton Whitney paid a taxi bill of $7.10. Then, with a mixture of emotions, paused beside Myra on the Biltmore steps.
I just love that show.
They're always better when I'm with you.
The outer surface of his mind was deliriously happy, but beneath that was a slowly hardening fright at what he had done. He, protected since his freshman year at Harvard from the snares of
Fascinating fortune hunters.
had taken advantage of his family's absence to become enmeshed in Myra's toils.
It was hard to say which was toils and which was he.
The afternoon had been like a dream.
If you
Believed in me.
The matinee.
Tea at the Ritz.
Trip to the jeweler's?
And a med dinner at a little Italian restaurant.
On the back of the bill of fare, he had written, and pushed it over for her to add the ever miraculous,
You know I do!
and now at the day's end, they paused on the Biltmore steps.
Say it!
Breathed Myra close to his ear.
He said,
Oh, Myra, how many ghosts must have flitted across your memory then?
You've made me so happy, dear.
No, you've made me happy. Don't you know, Myra?
I know.
For good?
For good. I've got this, you see.
And she raised the diamond solitaire to her lips.
she knew how to do things, did Myra.
Like a gossamer fairy in shimmering rose, she ran up the wide stairs, and her cheeks were glowing wildly as she rang the elevator bell.
Ding!
How am I going to tell my parents?
Ding!
At the end of a fortnight,
Myra got a telegram from Knowlton saying that,
His family had returned from the West.
and expected her up in Westchester County for a week's visit.
Myra wired her train time.
bought 3 new evening dresses and packed her trunk.
It was a cool November evening when she arrived. The train platform was a shouting medley of voices and a great snorting of automobiles as they turned and drove away. Then, before she realized it,
The platform was quite deserted.
and not a single one of the luxurious cars remained.
Knowlton must have expected her on another train.
Damn.
She started toward the station when suddenly she was accosted by a very dirty, dilapidated man.
You Miss Harper?
Yes?
Myra confessed, rather startled.
Was this unmentionable person by any wild chance the chauffeur? Chauffeur's sick. I'm his son.
Myra gasped, too amazed for words.
And not a little dismayed.
Myra looked in vain for a car.
And was not left to wonder long.
For the man led her steps to a battered old flitter.
Big car's broke. Had to use this one. Or walk.
He opened the front door for her and nodded.
Well, get in.
It was quite dark when they swerved out of the road and up a long, dusky driveway to the Whitney place.
Just go right in.
And as she passed the threshold, she heard him softly shut the door.
Closing out himself and the dark.
Myra looked round her. She was in a large, somber hall.
Ahead of her was a broad staircase, and on both sides were several large, great statues.
But not a sight or sound of life.
Myra must have waited there a full minute before she began to have that unmistakable sense of someone looking at her. A sallow little man, bald and clean-shaven, trimly dressed in a frock coat and white spats, was standing a few yards away regarding her quizzically.
The odd twist to his eyebrows gave him a faintly elfish expression.
And she had one of those vague, transient convictions that she,
Had seen him before.
many years ago. For a minute, they stared at each other in silence. Then Myra discovered a desire to swallow.
You must be Mr. Whitney. I'm Myra Harper.
For an instant longer, he remained silent and motionless. And it flashed across Myra that
He might be deaf.
Suddenly.
He burst into spirited life.
Exactly like a mechanical toy.
Started by the pressure of a butt.
Why, I know. Why, naturally. I know.
She blushed appropriately.
That's awfully nice of...
Oh, you must be tired and hungry and thirsty. No doubt, no doubt.
he looked round him indignantly.
The servants are frightfully inefficient. Sit down, won't you? I'll go get something. 60 seconds at the outside. Poor girl, poor little girl.
As minutes passed, a feeling of oppression fell over her.
Had he gone to go get Knowlton?
Minutes passed.
Myra was torn between resentment and bewilderment.
By what code was a visiting fiancé ever thus received?
Her heart gave a jump of relief as she heard a familiar whistle on the stairs.
It was Knowlton.
Myra,